It is started.
Oh, forgive me. Then, when last we left our intrepid heroes in their daring adventure, the previous episode, the night before, Jaeger had succumbed to a bit of an illness. Um, right around the same time, Genji was having a provocative moment on the ship with his meditative state. During that time, and during the events of the previous episode, um, this is kind of what happened to Jaeger. And so, Jaeger, for a time, you wander in what appears to be a hazy forest that, as you go through it, gives way to a more densely uh, thick area of densely thick wooded area. However, even though it gets thicker, the trees are less alive, as you can see from the depiction here. It's quite foggy um, as you traverse the mist and seemingly dead trees. The forest floor gives way to sort of this hard pan and shale stone covered um, broken pathways. You wander for a time, and at some point begin to realize that the only sounds you hear in the forest are your own footfalls. You don't hear bugs, you don't hear birds, nothing. You wander for a time in a gray haze like this, not necessarily directionless, but not truly knowing where the path is taking you.
I would call out, hello? Hello?
Yes. Um, you take notice of the trees as you know the area becomes less familiar to you somehow. You do take notice that the trees are not indigenous to anywhere that you're aware of. You can't nail it down. You're quite learned in most foliage of the various mainlands, and you can't nail it down. You're not sure. And so, with that being said, you eventually wander into an area as what draws your attention is a sort of purplish glow through the mist. Um, and the sounds of life, birds, bees, so on and so forth. And at one point, you're pretty sure you hear voices.
I would run towards the voices.
Okay.
Hello? I hear you.
And so you begin to crash through the silence, shattering the deafening silence with your large yachting feet. Quite deft, but still breaking the already mostly dead foliage and hailstone beneath your massive frame, implying no one's walked this way in a long time.
Ah, no one's walked this way, let alone talk this way in many millennia.
And so you wander through the thicket until you reach a clearing where there is, as I had said, the eerie purplish glow seems to be coming directly from the trees themselves in this area. The dead trees sort of immediately give way to the half life that is this small clearing.
Hmm.
You see before you a massive um, Jotun dressed in very archaic tribal garb, um, adorned in, you know, various furs, leathers. He's carrying some oddly shaped spear like polearm made of some, at your best guess, ivory that you can't readily identify its source. And from
Oh,
where you're at, you can see his tattooing immediately hearkening to Yule. Although this man doesn't sport the assemblage of Clan Kraken, he actually sports an older, less known assemblage of Clan Bear, a clan that no longer exists. It would seem this is one of the people of your people's many legends. The chieftain of what is now known as Clan Kraken, what used to be Clan Bear. This is the Beastmaster Dar, who went on some form of journey. The details have never really been clear. Um, went amongst the Sky Pony, seeking a way to essentially help heal the world, free the people, while at the same time protect his own people from the destruction of the Harkin. It would appear something happened along the way, as he never made it home, and Bear Clan was broken, spread across the archipelago.
all right.
And so you come through the clearing, and what do you do?
I can interact. I can move.
Correct.
Um, Upon seeing another Jotun in this strange and unfamiliar place, in the thickest Jotun speech that I can muster, I would begin just talking to him. Hello, brother. Can you help me? I seem to be lost. I'm trying to find my way back home to my friends.
Yes, and as you begin to sort of call out to him, he looks up with you or at you, forgive me, with this confused look on his face. And as he does, seems as though he actually sniffs the air between the two of you. You see his muscles sort of tense as he, who are you?
I am Jaeger of the Elk Clan.
What do you see?
Those are old markings. Who are you?
I am leader of Bear Clan, Dar. And as he says that, roll your spot check, which, forgive me, that was reflexive. You've already done this. um, as that happens, you notice from the tree line set of red glowing eyes that sort of peek out underneath some insanely dense foliage. While Dar sort of seems as though he's not necessarily in the mood for a whole lot of chit chat. A massive creature, beast, you're not sure. Fey creature, definitely. Sort of mm, to say he walks out of the foliage is incorrect. More to say that he grew from the dense thicket is the best way to describe what happens. And so, with that, I am going to share a bit of art. Disregard the human in the hand. It is for size reference strictly.
I'll try to draw my glaive, Jotun glaive, as quick as possible. That's a
Um,
it's pretty big. Pretty big forest entity. No pun intended.
yes.
Boom.
And it takes three or four massive jogging steps. Its feet never seemingly to leave the ground further than a few inches. And if even so, when its feet do leave the ground, you can see vines and foliage sort of coming up, and it uproots a bunch of stuff and pulls it out of the ground. Even though you can see its feet pulling portions of the earth up as it runs, it does not leave a footprint. Strides forward a few steps, and as you're speaking with Dar, just full on clubs him, right? With an appendage that could pass for a claw, although it's made strictly of like tree foliage, vinage, and just clubs him in the head super hard. He goes flying maybe 10 feet to the side in a
In a fit of
daze.
excitement, Jaeger tosses his Jotun glaive down to the ground and throws up his arms, excitedly grinning and showing his tongue to this giant foe.
And the giant foe spins, looking at you, that red fire in its eyes, sort of glaring, not necessarily menacing, more in a predatory fashion. And it rushes you. And as it gets up to you, it its foot comes up from the ground, picking you up, smashing you up against the rock here, and sort of pinning you against it. Its appendage has taken root, literal root, to the rock here, growing around you rapidly as though a tree that would have taken several centuries to take root. You never giving up, ever being the hard headed Jotun you are. As you are slammed against the stone, your body racked, you take significant bit of damage, 30 damage. You struggle beneath the massive weight as it speaks to you in a broken dialect of combination of both Sylvan and your guess is some archaic version of Jotun. And you can suss out part of what it says. And in some broken dialect, you make out perhaps you are strong, the fates chosen. And that's really all you can make out. As you begin to wrestle from beneath the massive weight, not necessarily being able to move the massive arm from around you, you begin to do the best you can to break what it has you pinned to, which is solid fucking stone. And you begin to succeed at literally knocking chunks of the stone away. And you're slowly wiggling free. It gives a bemused a look and sort of unroots itself from around you, letting you fall. You land on your feet. You sort of, to say he smiles is odd, but it's more like an animalistic smile. The way you may attribute a facial feature to your pet. You may say, oh, look, smiling. Is it truly? I don't know. It's an animal. Looks down at you, says, if you are to be the ones, the one fate has chosen for me, it would seem you are mighty indeed and have passed. I think you are worthy. Spins, sort of looks over at Dar, who is not fully recuperated from the hit, However, you can tell he is not wholly himself anymore as his facial features begin to shift. His tattoos sort of give way to more animalistic features as his head turns a his body stays human, but his head shifts to a lupin form. It becomes the head of a massive wolf, gray in color. Um, and as such, vines reach up from the ground and sort of hold him in place. He struggles and rages against them, but to no avail. And that's when the massive hulking brute turns to you, tells you he is the rage child. In your tongue would be Mervyn Bry, child of rage. And here in this clearing is a place he never expected to find you. He meant to come to you of a different way, but it would seem you're being consumed by one greater than I. And there is nothing I can do about this, as the
What do you
fractured state of the world holds most of the divines back. It would seem you've been granted a boon, a choice set before you. Here in this grove, you could remain hunting until the end of your days, though I'm not sure you would remain of Avalon. You would end up subject of the Earl King, inevitably becoming a part of the host of the Wild Hunt, unable to control your rage, fury, anger. As you can see here, Dar has given into his inner beast, chosen to stay here in the valley and hunt evermore, and will forevermore be denied access to Avalon. Hence the curse placed upon his people and why Bear Clan was broken. As he says this, sort of shifts his hulking frame to one side, allowing you clear view of the path beyond. And you can see, forgive me, silhouette of other yachting. They seem to be waving, urging for you to come through the clearing and into the sunlight. Mervyn says to you, Avalon is just beyond. Should you choose it, you can go. Although
What of my people back home in Ecclesia? My sister, my brother,
from
my
from
mother,
Avalon, from Avalon, you will see them
and home.
whenever you want.
Not in
But there is a
Avalon.
third path,
It's
a
not. It's
harder
not what
path.
Jaeger's asking.
There is a third path, a much harder path, but it is the one set before me. You are currently struggling in your physical body as your blood thinned. Another controls your physical. Here, your spirit, untainted, can be communicated with. Emotions towards the other tree line, and just beyond the hedgerow, you can see something stalking. And the thing that is stalking seems wrong. It doesn't belong here. Seems very predatory, however. Um, a mix of various predatory animals, both magical and natural. You see the great and terrible form before you, and Mervyn gives name and calls it Cath Pallig. Many know her by many, many names. She currently is the one.
Jaeger.
She's currently the one consuming your blood now. She holds sway over your physical and would consume any Jotun, as she is the architect of the destruction of your ancestors, the
She goes
ancient.
by a new name, Mervyn. Or so she calls
Is your
herself.
you believe you know who is doing this directly?
I have a very good presumption. I do.
I would hope so. I would think you don't share your blood willy nilly.
She calls herself Mehelania now,
Is
the
that
Dark
right?
Witch.
And as you complete her name, a crack of thunder through the sky. As a slight rain, a misty rain, sort of rolls into the valley. And yes, this visage before you is merely an illusion, one he can control. Outside of this small area, however, she holds much power here still. And so the third path set before you leads you directly back through the fog with whence you came. You must make your way back to yourself, your true self, not the one you've been hiding behind. Choose too swift, for the fate of many relies on it.
I would go back to the living and save my people and the world from this coming darkness that seems to be threatening to swallow all of us whole.
Then go be the hammer of the gods, smashed upon the anvil that is humanity. Forge the world anew and make a place for the divines. Go.
And Jaeger would start sprinting the way that he came.
And As you make your way through the thicket, you leave the purple glow behind you. And as you're running through the mist, you take notice of the place around you and the dead forest, the shale floor sort of gives way behind you. And as you take off at full sprint, you leave footprints of foliage that take root and spring up to full life immediately behind you. And as that happens, you begin to sort of place your hand upon trees as you're sort of using them to quickly push your way through the dense foliage that begins to sort of almost consume you. The foliage becomes so dense at one point, you sort of need to begin to climb it. And as you do, the trees become less and less alien to you, eventually, the giving way to cherry blossom trees. And cherry blossoms are raining down and falling from seemingly every direction as the winds sort of whip back and forth until inevitably they are so thick they are falling like snow. You have to cover your face as they fall, inevitably building into what seem snowdrift sized cherry blossom leaves. They grow to an immeasurable size to where you are running through them, leaping, bounding, and you notice you are running across massive cherry blossoms to the point where you have to exert yourself jumping between them, fully noticing at one point you made it through the foliage and the cherry blossom storm in the buff. You are running with merely a loincloth, and you feel a new weight strapped to your back. And you make one final leap across some immense chasm that you can't even see the bottom. And just barely making the jump, you are just covered in sweat. Jaeger's massive, hulking, fucking scarred body makes his way through the rest of the cherry blossoms, hearing conversation that draws you. Some of the conversation sounds excited, and you come through the clearing here, taking notice that crew members of the ship are here. Few of them seem in conversation. Genji seems to be quite distracted with helping and handling Bailan, who is nude and in his full hybrid form. Uh, he seems battered, cut in various places on his body, surrounded by various samurai clansmen. Armando seems to be in heated debate or conversation of some exceedingly excitable content with a man on a slightly raised dais who is giving oration to a crowd of other samurai with attendees, presenting to them a lantern. You know the lantern. You've seen it before. It's the one given by Lon, by Armando. And as you make your way through, I need to firstly put you in your appropriate place over here. And then and that's when we'll pick up. Everyone else knows what happened up until this point. Kristen has been caught up on the pertinence, things he needs to know. And Jaeger, everyone comes into focus as you see Sandoval flipping a green piece of um, jade to this man here. And
Ping them again.
as he does that, he begins, clearing the river here via log. Go ahead, you can control yourself now, Jaeger.
All right. If I can audibly discern Armando's voice and I hear Sandoval in the group, I would immediately let everyone know my presence is here. I would shout out at the top of Jaeger's lungs as loud as I possibly could. Armando!
Just a pause.
Does anybody take sonic damage?
My clan elder sees a look pass across my face. It's not necessarily. It's more of a, oh no.
Oh no.
And
Does he still sound the same? Because apparently he doesn't look the same.
his voice sounds a lot more haggard.
Oh. To be fair,
Oof.
as far as I was aware, he's been
recognize
very
though?
sick.
He can, yeah,
Must
you can
speak.
recognize him. He's still himself,
Jaeger?
just very, very hairy.
What
As
happened
though-
to you? You're all gray.
As though you've not seen, as though you've not seen him in a year, maybe a little less. You're not sure. You're not real certain how fast his hair grows. He usually shaves most of it. So.
Excuse me, Sandoval. Armando, I must speak with you.
Yeah, everyone's sort of looking like.
I'm not paying attention to literally anybody else. As soon as I saw Armando from a distance, I locked eyes with him and I paid no attention to any of the surrounding people.
Give me just a moment. I need to pull up my character sheet because I had it down so you could have your thing. I'm gonna roll a sense motive. Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
gonna be wonderful.
Not a skill you've dumped in.
Not a skill I have anything in. I have literally my base wisdom.
Oh
So,
God.
But you
total
know Jaeger, though. You've been.
right. And that's what I'm like anybody else. I might not even tried this, but I've worked with you, been around you long enough that I feel like maybe I can read the urgency in your voice. If you're like, this is important, we need to talk. So, total of 16.
So with that, give me a wisdom check, which I know is another
It
strong
would
one.
literally be the exact same roll if you want.
Nope, I want them both.
Oh, okay.
So that plus.
Well, this one rolled 2 points higher, so 18.
Okay, so just before you make your sense motive, you realize he's not doing that telepathic talk that he normally does for what he claimed originally was going to be like urgent stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And as you come to that realization, you look up and he seems pretty miffed. He seems as though he's been running.
Well, we're nowhere near our ship, so. Alright. Jaeger,
Yeah.
you've
And
awakened. Great.
just out of
How did you get
sheer
all the way here?
shock, everyone's kind of taken aback. Yeah, because you guys were several hours away.
Yeah.
My question is, how did he find us?
Some mythic yacht.
How did he make it through all the various security checkpoints at the castle?
I'm guessing he didn't fight because he's not covered in blood.
Nope.
Covered in blood. That doesn't mean he didn't fight.
It's Jaeger.
He's
going to be covered in blood.
He's
Oh,
correct.
Okay,
He
I was
seems
trying
as though
to be nice.
he seems as though what he is covered in, what viscera and foliage he is covered in, seems his own. There is some caked blood around the lip, eyes sort of swollen, chest cut up a little, ever so slightly. Some scrapes here or there. But yeah.
So yeah, I go over to him like, what's going on, Jaeger?
Jaeger, you there?
Deep into your eye. Into your eyes. Armando, in this moment I speak to you as a warrior, not a brother, and no longer kin. The Jotun blood, and I place my hand upon my chest, that flows within me, will not allow me to move forward as an ally without imparting the weight of your choices and consequences that have befallen us all. Armando, this path you have chosen that drips with blood, echoes with vengeance, and it resonates with every man who has traveled with you who had been wronged. As a Jotun warrior, I understand the call to battle. This need to seek retribution for the wounds inflicted upon us by outsiders. But understand this. In war, the loss of your allies are not worth the victory it costs. The incredible destructive power you wield, fueled by your blind rage, threatens to consume not only our foes, but our companions as well. And I motion towards Bylon. The blood bond we once shared is spoiled by your unyielding thirst for revenge. Leander, whose songs once lifted our spirits, now play a mournful dirge meant for the dead. Have you not noticed the distance growing between you and even Sandoval, the man you have hired to operate and run your ship?
I'm like,
Genji even.
I would look past him at Sandoval, but I'm not actually sure I could look past Jaeger with as wide as he is. Like,
There.
distance? I didn't know we were ever close.
And Genji, the stoic, shadowy warrior of Tiveria, who's always sought a path of harmony amidst the blackness of all of our choices. Looking back at Bylon, Genji helping Bylon. And then I look back at you, glancing one more time, lifting an eyebrow. And in the midst of all of this, the young and beautiful Mercedes, the love of your life, stands torn between the strength of your embrace and the darkness that threatens to devour you both. I feel her heart yearns for the scholar that she once knew, the one who wielded his intellect with wisdom and honor, and I spit at the ground when I say that. I laugh. Honor.
And from the background, the guy on the dais begins to have the wildest conniption. Go ahead, continue.
I beseech you to wield your power with restraint. Temper your anger with the clarity of that of a stormless sky. Do not be clouded by that dark witch. Embrace the wisdom of your true allies. And I slam my hand on my chest loud enough for all of you to hear. Not that of an ancient shadowy being, one who had a direct hand in the destruction of my ancestors. Harness that destructive power within you. Channel it for a purpose greater than vengeance. Your ideas could change this world. I know it. Show your companions your transformation is one of growth and wisdom earned through hardships. And I kind of motion at the scars adorned upon my body. And I kind of turn from you in that moment, and I look at the rest of the people around now that I've said what I said. I
And
am but a humble Yachten.
as he does that, everyone takes notice that he has this sickly pallor of himself, something not quite of human color. Continue. Go ahead.
I am but a humble Yachten, not long in this world, yet I am tempered and changed by its harsh realities. I too understand the desire for destruction against my enemies, but heed this. The true mark of a warrior lies not in their ability to destroy, but in their ability to judge when to stay their hand. And I look back at Sandoval, Genji, Leander, and Armando. Look at how much I have held back. Do you believe all I do is simply punch things? And I look at Armando one more time. I hope our paths remain linked and follow the same direction. Though we are no longer brothers, I would hate to call you enemy. And I stand tall, and I pull the giant bone cleaver from my back. And I prop it on the ground, and I run my hand along the blade of it, cutting it open.
You take 8 point of damage.
And I begin to sling that blood on the ground.
Okay. And in severing the blood bond, the sickly pallor sort of begins to rise closer to the surface of the skin in a discoloration of the veins. And as you sling your hand forward, the blood that flows out rapidly oxidizes from the deep crimson color to a dark black, hits the ground, and rotes of smoke leave or hiss from the ground as it begins to bubble and your veins turn a sick black color, and all of it flows from the heart outward and down your arm and out the cut into the ground. And wherever the blood touches, like I say, it just sort of bubbles, fizzes, and disappears into little rods of steam.
Okay.
Leander is writing furiously.
Yeah, out
Yule's
again,
mouth
yes,
is
I
agape.
figured.
What was
Yule's mouth is agape, tear in his eye, actually.
I begin to walk over to Bylon.
And oddly, not not a man stands before you.
I mean,
More,
I kind of
more
am, but it's
flabbergasted. Right, right.
also kind of moving aside. Like I'm
Yeah,
kind of looking at you like,
all are flabbergasted.
never has so
More,
much
more,
flabber been gasted.
yeah,
so thoroughly?
more shocked than fear. More shocked than fear, as most of them are astounded. You would even, disrupt court. Firstly, then come here and spit on the hollow ground. Secondly, then thirdly, invoke the name of a witch, and then fling dark, weird, black blood and some dark blood ritual all around. Yeah, the dude on the dais is, like I said, he is just thoroughly. You could knock him down with a feather right now. He is distraught, to say the least.
Sandoval leans over. First time meeting Jaeger, he has that effect.
First time?
First time.
How do you say bull in a china shop?
Usually with your mouth.
Yeah, Jaeger. So, reactions, anyone? Anyone?
I think my reaction is to just stand there, mouth agape, looking at where he was. Didn't really get to break in there. I was starting to, but he's like, especially Jaeger having, since he specifically said he was gazing into my eyes. I'm like, at first I was kind of offended, and then he's hurt, and then slightly broken.
He touched on a lot of solid stuff.
Well, remember, one of Armando's fears for so long is, yes, he made weapons for himself to use, but he wouldn't share them because he knew their power.
Yeah. And he
just,
so astutely pointed out that everyone sort of really likes the scholarly Armando. That may hit home. I don't know.
And now I need to roll another check. Many wisdom checks are being made today.
Hey Sam, does he need to make a hit in the feels check? Is that a thing?
I think that's what he's doing, sir.
No,
No, I
not
don't.
exactly. So I don't know what's going on
He
with this die,
already-
but it went from a 14 to a 16 to an 18. So I have a total of 20.
Okay.
And I look up. Died. Only this and nothing more.
Wait, did you
Deal
say
is
I
broken.
died?
No. I said you lied. Only this and nothing more. Our deal is broken.
Yeah.
That is fair.
And with that, there is a dark streak of purple lightning that crackles through the sky. Behind it, one of the most thunderous roars you've ever heard that lingers in the air for several seconds before it is gone. The dark clouds still hovering.
Yander peers up at the clouds.
And so, with that, everyone's sort of astonished. Still standing around, watching you as the guy from the Dragon Clan, if anyone is paying attention to him, seems to be still prattling on about several things on top of the things he's been saying about Genji and now the Lion Clan head. He now has overreacted to the things that are happening at the moment, on top of he is totally offended that you would spit on the floor and then cut yourself. And like I said,
Oh, and I would finally
the
turn and
blood ritual.
I
He wants to know
apologize.
what type of dark sorcery you just cast on the court.
Dark sorcery.
Do you speak Tavirian?
You jest. No, I
Okay.
speak in
You-
common.
He is
I don't speak to
He
Viridian.
okay.
is
So he is. I am actually
He is
translating.
speaking in Tavirian. Yeah. Okay. Then yes, Genji is translating for you.
I'm gonna take a sip from my flask.
What kind of dark sorcery is this?
Genji, you know Yatin, right?
Yes.
Then I will speak in my tongue, and your people can speak in your tongue.
Actually, do I? No, I do. I do. Yeah, I picked it up. I was like, did I? And then I remembered. Oh yeah, I speak.
No, come on.
Most languages.
I think I speak everything.
I'll be honest. Armando appears to be in a state of shock. He turns to the Crab Clan guy, hands him the lantern he brought as a gift, and just turns and walks across the bridge past Sandoval. Like, here, this was for you. Like, he looks like he's just going to walk out. He's just can't. He's done.
Right.
Which one's Crab Clan?
That one.
Yep.
Just a refresher.
Say black curses were cast upon you. That is laughable. No black curse.
Just
I
as
have
a
been
reference,
chosen.
which one's which again? Like that one?
Yes. This
Are they
is
not in the... Well, never mind. It's a really long thing to look through.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
Hey man, there's been a lot of people.
Well,
We've been praying
folderize
for
it.
that out.
Hold on. Dragon Clan Speaker, Cran Clan Shinobi, Lion Clan Borderman.
What does that mean? Folderizer? I
Put it
can
in
just put them in
folders.
folders. Okay.
I don't know. I made it up as I went. It's what we do, in us inventors. I don't know.
Did your elder not see that? That is clearly the workings, and I point up at the sky, of the dark, evil witch Merilania. May her name be stricken from time and forever forgotten. She deserves no respect, no empathy. No one should mourn her loss when her time will come.
And Genji,
Do you not? Okay, shit, it didn't send. Hold on. Yeah, I was trying to keep it quiet. I already knew that this was coming, so yeah, there was a will save. I don't know what, me having a total of 38 for that will save does, but I'm
need to
kind of.
roll diplomacy.
I need to roll diplomacy.
Yup.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh. So remember how last time I was like, hey, I don't have to fight my way out of the court of the Jade Dragon. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to fight my way out of the court of the Jade Dragon 6.
That's
I
literally
rolled a
half my
1.
bonus.
All right. Jaeger roll sense motive.
Here's my question: is Bylon still in the cage?
No, they
No.
let him out last session.
I wasn't clear on where we were on the timeline.
You forgive me. Yes, you had let him out. I believe it was you that had let him out.
Yeah,
They didn't stop you.
because we'd already convinced them that no, Bylon was innocent here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or at least was that they would hear more.
Apologies, my character sheet is taking forever to load up. I don't know why.
Nope, you're fine.
I'm checking to see if I already have it pulled up, possibly.
Meanwhile, Armando,
Mm.
as you make your way close. Oh, first of all, Sandoval, are you just kind of like chilling?
No, I took a drink from my flask. Other than that, I'm watching what goes on.
Okay.
Sandoval is a Sandoval
Yes.
does. Oh.
Fair. But yeah, you begin making your way downtown, walking fast. But
All right, Tristan, we're
yeah,
getting some weird feedback.
it's press.
These
Oh,
guards sort of surround the end of the log.
funnily enough, as you were saying feedback, it turned into feedback.
And yeah, they kind of are quite insistent on the fact that you should not leave just yet. But Jaeger, did you roll your sense motive?
Sorry, I had to refresh the page. I'm getting that together right now. Sorry, that took so long. Do.
I didn't remember last time. Yay, I don't have to find my way out of the dragon court. Well, looks like I have to find my way out.
A 19 sense motive?
Okay. You don't fully understand what it is that Genji says right after you're saying, the bad stuff about Mahalania. But it sends a few of the people into an uproar as Genji on your end, the man on the dais, you aren't very eloquent
Yeah.
in the way that you sort of, try to smooth over what it is Jaeger is touting. And in that, the man on the dais immediately begins to condemn you. And look, he speaks on behalf of which here in our hallowed halls. How dare you? I call you traitor. Dare I say, treasonous, as everyone in the court sort of begins to murmur. And he begins to tell everyone there that he will ensure that the clans have Genji's head before the setting of the next sun. And your grandfather immediately steps forth and, begins to grovel, saying, it is his right to step in on behalf. Brab clan guy sort of steps up in protest as he, does not believe that there should be that extreme of a punishment simply for speaking for a divine who intervened and brought child of the clans back. And as he says that, um, the final bits of Jaeger's blood is boiling off. And ever so softly, you can hear your flute play a song, right?
Yes. Um.
And as such, the girl Harushi Rinko, she steps up, places a hand on your shoulder, and says, on behalf of the accords of all the five councils, I speak for this man. Everyone there kind of looks around. She
Like
his
I'm.
death be on my name, his death be on my hands, as I plan on taking him to the summit of the northern peaks. And in doing so, fear not, for the tests will either prove him unworthy, in which case the clans will have their corpse, or worthy for what it is I believe, and may in fact free him of any weird supernatural bonds he may have that he is aware of or
Out of game. I don't say anything. Like I said, out of game.
Unaware or unwilling. How's that?
And the guy in the days says he has no ill will towards the Phoenix clan and would hate to hang both of you. And so he has no choice but to spare Genji for the time. And you are to be taken up to the sleeping mother and see if she is, or if you are worthy of her judgment. And if so, gods be with you, for I know not what kind of hells she would put you through in order to cleanse your soul. But one could only imagine it would be like the forges of the heavens, creating steel, right? Right, right. So, good luck in that. Looks down at your grandfather. Get off your knees, old man. And sort of leaves. And at that, the tension sort of boils back. It doesn't leave wholly, but it does simmer down some. Guys back off, letting you leave if you'd like, Armando. And Rinko looks to you, Genji, and says, she could hear your flute. This is why she spoke for you. This is rare. The others, I didn't have the time to try and convince everyone. All I need to know is you and I we share a bond in that. I too carry an instrument of the ancestor.
I bow my head and at a game I cannot remember the proper phrasing, but basically I give her the most deep, sincere thanks that I can for having spoken.
It seems you have gotten yourself in over your head. Forgive me. I make no jest.
No, I actually laugh. With my friends, I often find myself far in over my head, and they theirs. All that my goal is always to try and keep us at least above the drowning line.
The Crab Clan speaks highly of your family. You do well patrolling the borderlands. Your family does well patrolling the borderlands. Although I heard your story from one of the Ganin that was out in the field, it would seem he aided you in an endeavor, although he could not save your cousin.
Yes.
I assume you're bringing Bailan with you. You could pick him up and carry him, no problem. He weighs about as much as a child to your massive fucking ass.
Tell your elders I apologize for interrupting the summit, but it is important.
I'm taking my teddy bear and going home.
I carry this message from the gods. There will be a coming conflict,
He
and they
finally
must
got his bear.
decide.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, this
He
is such
did.
a serious scene, and that just came into my head out of nowhere.
Damn it, Justin.
But no,
I mean, I
yes.
laughed.
I'm laughing out of game. I apologize in game for
I don't
breaking
care.
it.
That's funny. Worth it.
Oh.
All right. And I take my grandfather and I am leading us all, and I am helping him out, and I'm going in my head. So, out of game, what do I know about the Trials of the Peaks?
All right.
Or what is supposed to
So
be?
it's something that usually happens. It's reserved for Lord Squires.
Oh,
Ones
no
ones
pressure.
that would ones that would aspire to ones that would aspire to being essentially, like a warlord, a border patrol warlord, or a member of the Sigic Order, even. And so, to be fair about a lot of it is shrouded in a lot of mystery, mystique, so to speak.
Yes. All right. So, again, I do thank her for speaking up, and I am moving up because, yeah. All right, let's in my head. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Right?
Before
And
anything
she
else
will
happens.
she will send for you when the time is right. After this summit, potentially. So give her a day or two. She will call on you. She assumes she should, bring supplies for enough for at least some of your friends. I assume would be attending. They may not go all the way to the summit, but they may come inland so far as we would like to take them. This isn't something you'll be going and doing overnight.
No, this is. Yeah.
It's not something that they expect you to do alone. Most Lord Squires bring an entire battalion with them when they go. You're going to want to gather allies.
Oh boy.
So Sandoval kind of sipping out of his flask the whole
Is
time.
this samurai chick
And
getting all close?
Genji, yeah, she sort of notices your hulking fucking name, sort of confused look upon her face.
Ooh. What does this warrior stare
She
at me
says
for?
something you can't. She says something you can't understand. But Genji, she asks, "Is he an ogre?"
I turn it in Tiberian. Only when it comes to dinner.
He looks like an ogre of the old tales. Forgive me.
Sandoval would reply
Genji, you're
into
quite certain she's referring to,
Oni.
Irda,
You're the
a giant kid. Yes,
Ais.
but
the
Sandoval
Irda.
would kind
You
of
you aware of the Irda?
The name, I think we've discussed it briefly before, but it's been a while.
Okay, so they were around when the Titans.
Sandoval would kind of chime in Tavarian. They don't like that term.
Hmm.
Ogre.
True.
And
All
she
these
kind of
three people start speaking in a
just
language
looks him
I
up and
can't
down
understand.
and shakes her head.
I continue walking out.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. It would seem no one plans on stopping your big ass.
I can't understand them, so
I'm not trying to stop you, and
Oops.
we're out of here. Actually, grandfather has to stay, doesn't he?
Yes. Okay. So, yes. You guys make your way back.
Damn, I knew he was big, but holy shit.
He may have put on a little weight.
But yes, you guys have several hour journey back to the coast. And Jaeger is essentially naked, wearing nothing but his loincloth, carrying a massive, as he had said, like bone cleaver like item. Um,
my totem necklace that I always wear.
nope.
No? Oh, well,
Nope.
there am I then.
You have none of that stuff.
I have my loincloth and sword then.
That's it. And as you guys make your way through town, sense motives all around.
I'll be honest, unless somebody physically draws my attention, I'm not
Okay.
winded
Then not
enough
a
to
lot.
notice anything.
Solid
fair.
12.
Okay.
Uh, that's gonna be slight 25.
Light 25.
You know,
So
nothing too,
25.
nothing too fancy.
Genji, you got one?
25.
Damn. So Genji, Sandoval, you guys notice, as does Leander and Yule, that as you guys making your way through town or anywhere you pass, it's fucking weird. The women, and in some cases, even the men, sort of stop, give pause, and seem to be oddly drawn to the presence of Jaeger as he walks by. This odd animal magnetism. The two of you are very aware all of what it is. It seems almost magical in its proportions. However, as Literally everyone he walks by, it seems, are drawn to him sexually. Some of the women are acting very randy and raucous, as well as some of the men. Even some of them making lewd hand gestures and shit behind his back as he makes his way by. He seems completely fucking oblivious to it. But you make your way back to the compound.
The ship. It's okay, little buddy.
And yes, after rough day in court, what is everyone doing?
Very quiet. This is the least I've heard any of you speak on our travels. It's nice, actually.
Everyone seems quite somber. Leander is picking your brain. He wants to know what happened, how you got there.
I am paying
Yes.
attention to this because I'm quite curious.
I woke up from the ship, and I was
think a
wandering
meal is in
through
order.
the forest of Avalon, of my people. And I kind of turn over my shoulder and I look back at Yule. I saw someone you might be curious to know about, brother. You remember the old tales of Dar? I saw him wandering the forest of Avalon, hunting, blissfully eternally lost to the hunt. As well
Then
as
it is true.
Mervyn Bry, my great
Child of rage.
god. Yeah, the child of rage. He spoke to me. Actually, I had the honor of wrestling him. I finally met my match. As I look at Leander.
You still sport the wounds of the light fray with him. And as you guys make your way back to the compound, the hand accompanies you guys to the compound, where he leaves you guys at the gate with a bow to everyone wordlessly. Turns, hops on his horse, sort of unceremoniously turns, makes his way back to the capital.
Sandoval gets off the horse. He kind of stretches a little bit. It's a far bit different than riding around a stable.
I was gonna say, weren't we on a carriage?
I was on a horse.
I believe some opted for carriage, some opted for horseback. As I had stated, it would not be a rough ride. They weren't driving hard.
Yeah. This is more flavor text. Sandoval's just a little, unused to a saddle.
Jaeger would walk. He wouldn't do that to a poor horse.
So yeah. So Sandoval's up and down with he's got that saddle walk going. Ah, not really used to that.
As I feel my butt deforming from the saddle.
It would appear Armando is just sour grapes the whole way back. Silent, sulking to anyone who rode in the carriage.
I don't know if sulking's the right term.
Okay, stewing.
Stewing.
boiling.
Simmer? No, not simmering. Simmering has angry connotations. He's
Introspecting. I don't know
that's
if that's
probably pretty close.
I need a drink. I've been wandering through the damn cold.
Yeah, Leander. I think we all do, big man.
Fair.
I've been to court. I've been to 3 different courts now, and I don't like any of them.
Rather dull, I agree.
Dull,
Quite like ours.
dull.
Rather quick.
The most exciting days of my life have been in court. But I don't want to fucking relive them. I tell you that.
Sandoval kind of gestures with this flask, saying, the reception here does leave a little to be desired.
Reception for you was rough, but I mean, you know what? Kind of points over at Genji. This is the first time I ever left court with a dead man.
Kind of look over at Leander when he says that. I too was sent away from my home. Pretty much expected to die. And now look at me.
Yeah, look at you.
The look on my
You've been
uncle's
cutting
face.
your hair.
I long for that day, and nothing should stop me from seeing it through. But I have other things that I would like to do afterwards. We have more important things besides me just settling back with my people.
Does it
You've been
involve a
cutting your
barber?
hair. You know what you need? Pants made.
I'm wearing clothes.
You need more of them.
Nah. Feels great outside. It's not cold, not too hot. Just right. Plus, this giant sword of mine keeps the wind off my back should it get too chilly, so I'm good.
Yeah, well, your giant sword is getting the whole fucking crowd in an uproar, mate.
Oh, yes. I'm meaning to ask you that. Do you know what kind of material this is? It's a bone, obviously, but...
Yeah, of course. Oh, you meant the. Let me see.
Yeah, and I could show it off. Anyone that's near could take a look at my new sword that I'm sporting. There's one giant piece of bone, sharpened to a very beyond razor sharp edge. Maybe not that far.
Yeah, he gives it a once over as he shakes his head. I can't tell you what it is, but I will tell you it's ancient. It is super old. That's really all I can say.
Armando,
Whatever it came from was big because it's not
you
degraded.
what is this? You study things,
Who is it?
Armando.
Oh.
It's a sword.
It's a yes. This is obvious,
Okay.
Sandoval. Thank you very much.
Question for you, GM. We got back to
Yeah.
uh, the clan compound. Are we free to leave the compound?
If you would like.
Yeah,
Yes.
then I didn't stop. I kept walking. I went all the way to the ship.
Okay.
Armando, could you? Did you guys see him? Did he stop in with us? Or...
I
No, he
believe
didn't.
he went to the ship.
He went on to the ship. I know.
Well, what is our plans now?
Oh,
We go to your mountaintop, I guess.
accompany me partway along the trials. I am the only, as the one undertaking them, I am the only one allowed to actually ascend to the height.
Yeah.
Why? You think I can't climb up there? I'm not capable of it.
That
I
is
could
not
climb.
the intent, Jaeger.
But if you
What is
want
it?
to get, if you want to get actually real, Genji, he's not far off. No, he wouldn't be able to climb the last portion. That's sort of the point.
Well, Jaeger.
More of a metaphysical ladder needs to be
Well,
reached.
yes, but Jaeger, this is a trial along where while you may accompany me part of the way, I am expected to finish it on my own.
Oh, this is a personal inner journey. Say no more.
You are. I would greatly appreciate you accompanying me as far as you are allowed.
I could probably still climb that summit though, just between you and me. Totally, I could totally do it.
I
I
reach
believe
out,
that's the point.
pat him on the arm. I'm sure you could, man.
I
Yes.
believe that's the point, mate. We're all expected to climb at least that far with him, but there's a little bit extra that we can't go. So fear not, you'll climb the mountain, you'll conquer everything with your massive sword, laying everything in its path, thrusting it about here and there.
I haven't even gotten to use this new one yet.
Have you named it?
Come now, come. I find that hard to believe. You've used it. No
No.
way you've kept that thing sheathed.
Yes, I have.
Mhm.
I must be
Hmm.
honest. There's a lot of
This is
things
like
I have back and restrained my strength upon, but no longer.
I'll be honest, mate. You're fucking killing me.
Looking at the new, no, no restraints, no more
This is like
being held back, Jaeger.
this is like
Say
picking on a kid.
Why are you picking on a kid? Why would you do that?
Same old Jaeger.
I thought
So
better
you
of
grow a
you.
beard, but you haven't changed a whole lot. Listen, man. When another guy throws you a solid penis joke, you make one back. It's just the rules. There's a decorum here. You're not sticking to it. Social contracts. I mean, they depicted a pride one.
I am unfamiliar with these social contracts you speak of.
Ah, whatever. Savages. So, Genji, what's the plan for keeping your head
I too would like to know this plan.
No, there's a
Would
problem.
like
Is
some food.
So would he.
food
on?
at the moment. Um. Okay, so in all seriousness, what do I? Okay, so Sam, what are the traditions and mores surrounding these trials?
Okay.
Mm.
So, generally, one would study for the first portion of their life the way you did as a ninja. in order to take these trials on at your age, specifically. You know, like sort of graduations, so to speak. Um, you're expected to do it in the next 2 to 3 days, something that most people prepare to do over the course of several years.
All right.
So, not much prep in that endeavor. However, you're expected to go into the mountains on some, you know, unbeknownst task. At least that's the expectation. Yeah, that's it's sort of all very cryptic. You know, it's meant to be.
All right. I'm gonna pause right here.